To get into. We have a Final Four, and after all the carnage of this tournament, only one number one seed gets to the Final Four, but the Blue Bloods shine through, and it doesn't get much bluer than Duke-UNC in the national semifinal. We've talked about it throughout this entire tournament. We talked about the possibility of it happening. We counted it down to it happening. It's just so amazing. I mean, you wouldn't have believed it if it was scripted, right? I mean, it's like something right out of Hollywood. I mean, it would be like, I don't know, Will Smith charging the stage to slap Chris Rock for making a tasteless joke about Smith's wives. Did anyone actually see that live? Was anybody actually watching that and saw it live, or did you wake up to it today with social media blowing up all over it? I know I did. I mean, I've watched a replay of it, I don't know, 1 or 2 or 100 times, but I didn't know. I did. I woke up this morning. I'm like, I actually woke up to a thread that my kids were talking back and forth about it, and it was like a family text thread, and they were talking about whether it was appropriate or not, and that's how I found out about it, and then went and started looking at some of the information regarding it. If you know what you want to talk about, phone lines are open. 256-576-4977. You can also text the show. 732-9TA-SHOW. 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. Now, my personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show, where I left the sports world for a moment to post a poll question about the Will Smith-Chris Rock confrontation last night at the Oscars. Well, I guess maybe there's a bit of a sports hook to it, right? A little bit of a sports hook to the story. Since Smith ended up winning the Oscar for his portrayal of Richard Williams in the movie about the Williams sisters. I posted a poll question about it about half an hour ago. It's already gotten a ton of votes. Where are you on the Will Smith-Chris Rock deal? Will was out of line is getting 58%. Chris Rock deserved it. It's only getting 8%. It was staged is getting 33%. More people think that it was staged than think Chris Rock deserved it. What would you have done? What would you have done? We'll explain for those of you that haven't opened up your Twitter feed yet today exactly what happened there. The radio station's Twitter feed is at 97.7. Twitch and Facebook are 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show on Twitch or our YouTube channel at 97.7 ESPN The Zone exclusively. Go there, be a follower of Twitch, be a follower of, subscribe to our YouTube page, one or the other. You can watch the show there. While you're at it, get the app, because you can find links to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4 as well. All of our alternate streaming channels for more great programming on the app. Coming up in a few minutes, Beau Estes will join us. Now, you know him from NBATV and NBA.com, but today he joins us to talk tournament, UNC and Duke specifically. He is a big-time follower and historian of Carolina basketball. So we'll get into that with him. I mean, here's a legit question. Will Duke remain relevant after Coach K is gone? Or will they fade like Indiana did after Bob Knight? You'll just kind of fade into the woodwork. I mean, North Carolina has had 4 different coaches win a natty. Some people forget that Roy Williams won as many national championships, 3, as did the legendary Dean Smith. And Smith coached for 36 years. Williams, half of that, 18. And I will argue that Williams was, his era, it was more difficult to win one because you had to play more games. When Dean Smith started coaching, there was like 16 teams in the Madness. You know, it was only 16, right? The 60s and into the 70s. It was 16. Then it went to 32. It didn't go to 64 until, I think it was sometime in the 80s. Got a lot of tournament minutia for you. But it was 1985, mid-1980s, before it went to 64. So for some of you, 1985 seems like 1,000 years ago because you weren't even born yet. But for others, it's reasonable. Still battling this pipe. Still fighting the pipe. Man. Been sick for like 3 weeks. Won't go away. All 5 of Duke's national titles have come in the 42 years that Mike Krzyzewski has coached the team. And former Duke player and national champ John Shire will take this team over next season. At age 33, he'll be the youngest head coach in D1. And both UNC and Duke will have former players and champs at the helm. Now, Carolina was in full fade mode before whipping Duke at Cameron in Krzyzewski's farewell game and then making this run into the Final Four as an 8 seed. I don't know how happy people are with Hubert Davis, but now they're happy with him. You wonder how it will go for Shire over the next couple of years. And by the way, for what it's worth, Kansas is a 4.5-point favorite over Nova, while Duke is a 4 over UNC. By the way, while we're getting a 1, 2 2s, and an 8 to the Final Four on the men's side, the women already have 2 number 1 seeds in, and then tonight they have a 1-2 game and a 1-3 game. I told you it doesn't go very deep. I told you this all the time. It doesn't go very deep. They could have 4 number 1s. If they don't have 4 number 1 seeds, they'll have 3 1s and a 2 because UConn is a 2. I mean, how crazy is that to even think of? The UConn is a 2. They play North Carolina State tonight. UConn's a 2. The 3 is Michigan. At the top of the 11, Tony Tsoukalis from BamaCentral.com is in with an Alabama football spring report. Running back Jahmyr Gibbs getting rave reviews. Tide have had 5 practices so far. Everyone is injury-free. Real contact will begin this week. Here's a hockey note. You want a hockey note? I'll give you a hockey note. I mean, I thought it was a pretty significant hockey note. Rookie Tanner Jeannot with the Gordie Howe hat trick last night for the Predators as they came back from down 2 goals to beat the Flyers in Nashville. He scored his 22nd goal of the season, had his 17th assist of the season, and a fight. The legendary Gordie Howe hat trick. A goal, an assist, and a fight. Gordie Howe only did that twice in his 26-year career. 26 years, Gordie Howe twice had a goal, an assist, and a fight. But it became known as the Gordie Howe hat trick. Preds are now 3rd in their division. 16 games to go there in good playoff position. And the Havoc dropped 2 in Roanoke over the weekend. Is this the first time all season the Havoc lost back-to-back games? The Havoc dropped 2 in Roanoke, dropping to 2nd in the SPHL with 4 regular season games left. They are 2 points behind Knoxville. Last home weekend of the regular season is this upcoming weekend. 1st and 2nd. Then it's the playoffs. All right, back there in the little glass room with the slanted ceiling, playing the platters that matter and the stacks of wax, answering the phones, keeping us on the air, stoked that the United States is going to the World Cup and Italy is not. It's Coach Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Did you actually actually see it live? Were you actually watching the Oscars last night? Were you the one watching the Academy Awards?
No, I did not watch it live, but I think it was about, I don't know, 11 o'clock, sometime after it or whatever. I had gotten a message on, I guess I was scrolling through Facebook or something and happened to see it. And then I watched it thinking that, like, it wasn't real. And then I watched, like, all the other broadcasts, like, from other countries. Watch it. By the way, watch it. In
you gotta watch
other
it uncensored.
Countries. Yeah, because because it's funny because people are recording it and they get their reaction too, and I just love people in other people's languages like confused by this. You know, they're like, "What?"
On YouTube, you can
I heard
watch
one
it
person call him psycho. Like it was pretty funny.
You can watch it uncensored on YouTube.
Yeah,
so you get the full
good.
effect of.
It's really good. It looks real.
It was at first. At first, I thought it was rigged.
Yeah. Completely
you know what
staged,
I mean?
yeah.
And I'm thinking,
like it.
Didn't Chris Rock and Will Smith do some movies together? Didn't they do some stuff? But I don't know. I guess not. There's some past history. I guess in past shows, Chris Rock has made comments about Jada Pinkett Smith. Here's the story for those of you that don't know what the hell we're talking about. And it could be a lot of you. I don't know. But Jada Pinkett Smith, she's an actress on her own. Somebody else and all this other kind of stuff. But they've been to see Platoon 2 or whatever. What was it? What was he? G.I. Jane. G.I. Jane 2, where Demi Moore shaved her head in that movie. So he may or may not have known. You would think that he would have known. Will Smith, at first he laughs, and then his in front row because he's a nominee. for
Every man listening should learn from what Will Smith did, even though if it's out of line or not.
So first he laughs, and then you see the look on his wife's face, and she's not laughing, and she looks hurt a little bit.
Yeah,
she's not laughing.
She was irked by it. I don't think she was hurt, but she was definitely like,
she didn't think it was
she
funny.
rolled her eyes.
So he gets up and charges the stage. And then slaps Chris Rock. Doesn't punch him, but slaps him across his face.
Short arm slap, man.
Short arm slap.
All shoulder.
Right after he slaps him, if you screen grab it right at that particular moment, they look like they're both smiling. And it also looks like Chris Rock turns his head right before he gets slapped.
Yeah.
Which could be because he sees it coming. You know what I
Right.
mean? That doesn't have to be because he's taking the punch. It could be because he sees it coming. So he kind of turns his head quick. And then Chris Rock says, and then Will Smith storms off, but he's got kind of a smile on his face. And Chris Rock says, "Wow, I just got the bleep slapped out of me by Will Smith." And then Smith sits down, and then he looks really pissed. And he yells at the stage,
"Oh yeah,
keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth." And then Chris Rock says something, and he says it again, and he screams it, and it is picked up on like Australian TV and other TV on the uncensored version.
Yeah,
I don't know. So I guess this was on ABC last night because it was on Prime. I mean what were the awards that were on Prime? There were some awards that were on Prime. I thought, well, if it's on Prime, maybe they just play it uncut. So some people think that it's rigged because nobody watches these shows anymore. Nobody's watching the Academy Awards show anymore. No, it'll get good ratings. But really, nobody watches it like they used to. So some people thought they brought attention to it. More people watch a clip than watch a show. And
of course.
And then other things, well, are they promoting an upcoming something? But I guess it was pretty legit. Police looked into it. Chris Rock's declining, pressing charges. You can't charge somebody with assault unless the person wants to press the charges. You can't just, So it happened.
It's weird because it's like a beef that happened. Like he said something to her in like 16 too, apparently, and it's like some beef that kind of bowled over, I guess, too. But I get it where, like, he said something, and I get it.
She didn't go. What happened was just to flesh that out. She didn't go to the Academy Awards,
right? Protesting
in
or something.
2016, protesting the fact that Will Smith was not nominated for a movie that he was in that was heavily acclaimed. So she protested it and didn't go. And what Chris Rock said on stage is that
it was bad too.
What he said is that you got to be invited to go. You know what I mean? He goes, she wasn't invited.
The way he said it though was
the way he said it was off color. Yeah, he said about being invited to Rihanna's underwear or something. But he said it was she wasn't invited.
Right.
So he made a crack, but I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think it had strictly to do with the fact because that's free.
Yeah.
That's open game.
Oh yeah.
This is a scenario where, what if she had cancer and it was because of chemo
without a doubt.
or something like that?
Yeah.
So this is a condition. It's not like it's a life-threatening condition or anything, but it is a legit condition. And he was sensitive about it. Yeah, look, my first reaction, because my kids are debating it. My sons are debating it.
Right.
What do you do? My first reaction was, I'm doing the same thing. My first reaction is that Chris Rock had that coming. Now, some people said, how cool would it have been if Will Smith had run up there, grabbed the microphone, and told people what alopecia was about, in awareness of alopecia. Well, actually, Chris, my wife has alopecia, and she's had to shave her head because she was losing her hair. And then Chris Rock would have looked, he would have looked
worse.
So small.
Yeah,
he would have made him look
Chris
so
Rock
small.
looks better now. He looks better in the situation.
Well, a lot of people are praising Chris Rock for handling it professionally.
What you did?
A lot of people are saying, what if it was The Rock instead of Chris Rock?
God, he would have snapped him in half.
Well, he wouldn't have gone to the stage.
Yeah, he wouldn't have gone.
Dave Chappelle, would he have gone to the stage? I mean, it's little Chris Rock.
Dave Chappelle's huge now.
That's what I'm saying.
Dave Chappelle's been working out.
So I'm saying he doesn't charge Dave Chappelle, but it's little Chris Rock. I don't know, but
he thought it was Carlton out there.
I am surprised. Yeah, Carlton. I am surprised at the results of the poll question so far. Is that only 7.5% now are saying that Chris Rock deserved it.
I mean, he said
61% think that Will was out of line.
I get it. Like, it would have been different if she had cancer, but like, I think he was making light of the situation because she's come out on so many shows. Like, I watch sometimes daytime television when I get home and stuff like that because it just happens to be on the television because I leave it on the local channels a lot of times. And it'll be like on, and I saw like multiple shows where she's been on and she's talked about it and she's come out about it because she kind of like went away for a little bit when it when it started happening.
She is talking.
She went into hiding. So.
Some people said, "Well, wait a minute now." In that movie, in G.I. Jane, Demi Moore was like a badass. So
exactly.
was he complimenting the look?
Yeah.
Was he saying to her, "Hey, can't wait for Jen"? Was he saying that you look like a badass, or not?
I still think that, like, I get it. Comedians have to deal with like the emotions of others and stuff like that, but they're both comedians. They're both actors. They both make people laugh. They know the level of a joke, and I feel like that it was a joke, but yes, he may have gone a little over the line a little bit, I guess. Well, I say both ends went over the line.
Because of the fact that it's a condition.
Correct.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest with you.
But maybe this is all body shaming and...
Now I don't know. Well, yeah, but if that's the case, we become too sensitive, right? If that's the case. But if it's your wife and she has that condition and she didn't think it was funny, if you're going to watch it all, including his acceptance speech.
Yeah.
His acceptance speech, Will Smith's acceptance speech is really, really moving, I thought. I thought it was tremendous. It was very much moving.
Do you go up there and smack a guy even if your wife cheated on you? Even though I know they both cheat on each other.
Yes. Well, that was years ago. That was several years ago. So, yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still his
all
wife.
bowled over. He's been made fun of it for so long, though. I think that kind of bowled over on Will Smith, though, too. He's had so many memes made about him.
You mean about the girl, about his wife?
Yeah, about the whole situation.
Well, they were split up, and then she had...
I think he cheated on her, too, so, I mean...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they're actors. Who knows? See what Grumpy thinks. Grumpy! What's going on?
Hey, yeah. He did the fun part. Well, fun. The interesting part is that he didn't storm the stage and he didn't run off. He walked up there, slapped him, and then walked off.
That was pretty cool.
Classic. But and you guys hit it on the head there. I didn't listen to his acceptance speech because I really don't care about Will Smith, but or anything he has to say. But I did think it was when he looked over at his wife. You guys were kind of dancing around the word hurt. She was hurt. You could see it on her face, and that changes everything. And then you deal with it, and sometimes violence is the answer. I get so sick of people saying violence is never the answer. That's just false. There's times when violence is appropriate, and if you can't deal with that, then you're a daisy.
I mean, if somebody said that about your daughter, something about your daughter, your daughter had a condition and made a crack about your daughter, what are you doing?
Yeah, you would either have to live with that and put your big boy panties on the rest of your life, or you could go up there and slap the guy. And I'm so that's what happened. And if you don't want to get slapped in that situation, don't say something about the guy's wife that has an aisle seat. I mean, he was directly in front of you. But, whatever. All those comedians like to push the issue, so it is what it is.
I would recommend you taking the 5 minutes, though, if you get a chance, to watch his acceptance, because he apologizes, not to Chris Rock, but to the Academy. But it's actually, I know, but it's actually pretty. It was pretty. It was pretty cool what he said about sometimes you got to defend your family.
Yeah, but I whatever. I think he was just up there showing off, promoting the movie, showing his new forehand.
Maybe. That's what the Chubby Ninja says. He says actors going to act. The only way anybody's talking about the Oscars is this was set up. So.
Yeah, and we're talking about it right now on a sports show. But you cover more than sports. I get it. I'm not complaining. But hey, now that we're down to 4 teams, I want to hear what I think. Kansas looked better than everybody. It was crazy watching Kansas kick it out and hit the three just like it was just effort, like it wasn't a hard shot. I think Kansas takes it, but
Kansas has looked the most solid throughout. But I think Duke is scary, and there's the extra motivation, and I think Duke has the easiest path to the national championship game. I think that Kansas has a little bit more trouble with Villanova than Duke will end up having with Carolina. So
And what did Chris Rock say? Something like he got hit by. I liked his comment. He said he got hit by Muhammad Ali and didn't get a scratch. That's pretty good. All right, man. Thanks.
All right, appreciate you. It's a good break. Speaking of Hollywood, let's go out to Burbank. I think that's where Beau Estes lives now. Do you know he moved from Atlanta? He lives in Hollywood now.
So Atlanta, Colorado, and now Burbank. Because he was in Colorado, wasn't he?
Well, they vacationed.
Oh, was he just vacation?
Colorado,
okay.
But
I thought he was
his
moving
wife works for CNN, and she's now working for the CNN, the Los Angeles bureau of CNN. So they moved out there. He's still doing his thing, but with Turner. But anyway, Beau Estes is next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Attention Huntsville, this is your very last opportunity to purchase the best lakefront living for North Alabama. Saturday, March 19th on 43,000-acre Pickwick Lake, Alabama Land Sales will be offering the final release of prime lakefront home sites in a gated community with paved private roads, central sewer, underground utilities, and low taxes. Direct waterfront with amazing views starting at just $49.9. The first 4 phases of new-to-market parcels sold in one day, so set aside Saturday, March 19th to take advantage of this final release and learn more by taking a video tour at 888-544-LAKE.com, then call 888-544-LAKE for an early showing. That's direct lakefront with 153 feet of water frontage, just $49.9. Gated community, convenient to Huntsville on Pickwick Lake. Call or click 888-544-LAKE.com, then call 888-544-LAKE for an early appointment.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121. Hey, Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford back again to talk to you about how easy it is to make a custom factory order. Just click WoodyAndersonFord.com, hit the top banner, then start making your selections. It's really simple, and you'll end up with the exact vehicle you want. Not only is there no extra charge to custom order, but at Woody Anderson Ford, we'll take 5% off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on the 2022 F-150, Bronco Sport, Explorer, Expedition, and Ranger. Another option for you is a certified pre-owned. We have over 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified are low mileage, gently used with great warranties. They've passed a 175-point inspection by certified technicians and come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Also, don't forget our service department is offering a free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan at Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect a partly sunny sky. High temperatures will top out in the low to mid 60s for the afternoon. For your Monday night, a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures falling into the mid and upper 40s for the overnight. Looks like rain will return back into the forecast on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Now listen. And the Oscar goes to
the most awarded sports talk radio lineup in the state of Alabama.
Thank you so much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Wild West. Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider. No, you don't want nada. None of this. Six gunning this, brother running this. Buffalo Soldier. Look, it's like
is that the best you could do? Wild Wild West? I mean, Will Smith was stealing money in this movie.
It was a great movie. I love Wild Wild West.
He stole money in that movie. Yeah,
he did. He really did.
Now listen, was that Oscar rejoin coincidence? Was that just in the? Did you hear the tag coming back? It was
no. That was just that was a rotator.
That's
serendipitous. Wow.
We spent the whole first segment talking about the stupid Oscars.
I didn't even set that up.
Serendipitous.
That's just the rotating liners we have.
We got this liner. The Oscar goes to, and at the most awarded radio station in Alabama, us. And apparently that wasn't rigged. Look, Duke, North Carolina, it's Hollywood, but it's not Hollywood. It's real. I mean, it was set up to where it could happen, but I don't even know what the odds would be. I'll have to ask one of my handicappers. What would the odds have been for a 2 and an 8 to meet for North Carolina and Duke? That's Hollywood. And then Hollywood happened last night, and we ended up spending the whole first segment talking about that more so than Duke, North Carolina. And now we're going out to Hollywood. Burbank, to be specific, I think. Beau Estes joins us. You know him from NBATV and NBA.com. We're going to actually talk tournament, though, with him here in a moment. I don't know if he was at the Oscars last night. He might have been. He's a big star. He might have been at the Oscars last night, so he might have had a first-hand account of Will Smith, slapping Chris Rock. But he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Beau, were you at the Oscars last night?
Not even close, Tom. Not even close. The closest I got to the Oscars, the other day I went and watched the first round. There's a Buffalo Wild Wings that's on the same street as where the Oscars are. And so we were able to look out and see them prepping and stuff like that. But I'm not even close to that. We live, if you can imagine the Hollywood side, we're on the back side of that house. The Hollywood side. That's exactly what we are.
I just got an email that Bovada has posted odds for a Chris Rock Will Smith celebrity boxing match. Will Smith is minus 220. So a dollar. If you bet $1, you got to bet 220 to get $1 back. And Chris Rock is plus 155. So if you bet $1 on Chris Rock, you make $1.55 back. I would think that the odds would be higher than that. I mean, he did actually, Will Smith, play Muhammad Ali, and Chris Rock is a little guy. I would think that the odds would be much more in favor of Will Smith if they did square off.
And Chris Rock has no chance if that ever happened. Look, I as stupid as I am, I Googled Will Smith size after that happened. He's a 6'2" guy.
Yeah.
Chris Rock's a little fun, but he's just not. It's not the same weight class. It's not the same size. So whatever you think of what happened, if that sort of thing happened, Will Smith clobber. I mean, absolutely clobber.
And clearly, Will Smith does not charge the stage if it's The Rock instead of Chris Rock up there, right? I mean, we're going to go
about that too.
Yeah.
You pick your fights, right, Tom? You pick your fights, and he showed his bravery against Chris Rock. But you're right. If that's The Rock up there, The Rock can say anything he wants to about G.I. Jane, about Jada Pinkett, whatever. Will Smith's not making that decision at that point.
No. I think at that point in time, somebody said even if it was Dave Chappelle, he wouldn't have made that move because Dave Chappelle is all yoked up. If you had scripted Duke UNC, and we were counting it down literally like from the second round on, we're like, they did this on purpose, right? Do you know they put Duke and UNC in opposite brackets on the same side of the Final Four with the thought that they could get to the semifinal together? This is what's beautiful about sports, right? You could not have scripted this.
There is no way. I'm a diehard North Carolina fan who does the NCAA for the NCAA, and I could have never predicted that UNC would get so far. Duke, sure. If you look on the latest mock draft, Duke has 4 guys going in the top 20. UNC has nobody in the first round. Nobody thought North Carolina could do what they pulled off. They have just magically gelled at the right time of year. And this is one of those stories, you see it from time to time where teams just catch fire. Usually it's a small program that's a Cinderella story. North Carolina's an 8 seed, and they're an 8 seed for a good reason. But they have gelled at the right time of year and caught fire, and literally North Carolina, the school that Michael Jordan came from, is a Cinderella story.
They are a Cinderella story, and it does beg the question: if the season had ended in a thud, which is where it was headed. I mean, they go to Cameron and they win that game. That was amazing. You know what I mean? It was really amazing. There was nobody pulling for them except for Carolina fans or haters of Duke, which there are plenty. But they go there and they win a game. You wonder what the status is of Hubert Davis going toward, coming out of this season, if that's happening. I'm not saying he's going to get canned, but I'm just saying they're heading for Indianaville. They're heading for, losing that relativity that they have, post Roy Williams.
Well, that's the thing. They were a bubble team headed into that game. They were a bubble team, and they probably get in, but it's close. I'll tell you that. It's close if they get in or not. When they won that game, of course they get in. And so the thing at North Carolina, that hire was sort of preordained. Hubert Davis was Roy Williams' guy. There's a lot of the fan base that was really interested in a guy named Wes Miller, who's a former player at North Carolina under Roy Williams, who went on to take the Cincinnati job when he didn't get the North Carolina job. He is a young coach, but a hot coach. I wouldn't be surprised if one day he is the North Carolina coach. But there's a lot of the fan base that kept their eyes on that Cincinnati team and was watching their progress and thinking, oh, maybe we should have chosen that guy. So Hubert Davis did have some heat. I can tell you, because I talked to a bunch of former players, the program, I mean, when I say the program, I'm saying those inside the program were all behind Hubert Davis. And I mean strongly behind Hubert Davis. They wanted this guy to succeed. They really, outside of believing that he's the right guy, they really love this guy. So I think that, as far as having the program's backing, I think he easily survives a first year, as long as it's not too terrible. I think he survives it. And the reason I say that is those were all Roy's guys he got in there, except for Brady Manick, who has been an absolutely huge transfer in.
Yeah, and the emotion he showed afterwards in the interview with Jamie Erdahl, I thought was fantastic. It was one of the great moments. You don't see that in an NBA coach. You don't see that in a NFL deal. That's something you see in college sports. And that pure emotion, pure Carolina guy that he is, I thought was one of the beautiful things. I mean, I am not a fan of one shining moment. If I never see that again, I'll be fine. I mean, that thing needs to be, put a cork in that whole deal. But that was that was the essence of the tournament. What you saw to Hubert Davis at the end of that, at the end of that game.
Sure, and keep in mind, Hubert Davis, you mentioned that he's a Carolina guy through and through. He was a Carolina guy before he ever committed to Carolina. This is a guy whose uncle Walter Davis played in North Carolina, was a star, and I'm sure you remember him, Tom. So there's
thanks for reminding me how old. Thanks for reminding me how old I am.
It's a commiseration. I remember it too. But yeah, I think there's pictures of Hubert Davis when he's a little boy, and he's there with Walter Davis, Phil Ford, and he grew up in. He's the one that asked Dean Smith, "Can you take me at North Carolina?" Dean Smith wasn't recruiting him, so Dean Smith sort of did a favor to the family and took Hubert Davis. Turned out it worked wonderfully because Hubert was a really good player at North Carolina and went on to have a really nice NBA career. But I tell you, that program means the world to him. Those players mean the world to him. There's a former player from Atlanta, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, going towards Alabama, named Brandon Robinson, who just finished his career at North Carolina. He's a graduate assistant, and I can tell you, he absolutely would do anything for Hubert Davis. There's just so many guys lining up, and that's the thing. Hubert Davis's connection with North Carolina goes back to Jeff Lebo, an assistant coach that he talked about yesterday, was his senior when he was a freshman, and now all the way down to guys who are just finishing up their career like Brandon Robinson. So he has the history. He played for Dean. He coached under Roy. He really has turned out to be fantastic. And the other thing that's going to happen now is that, to reach the Final Four in your first year, you imagine would help recruiting. And so now he's going to start to get some guys in that he really wants and that are, look, when they play Duke, Duke is going to have more talent than North Carolina in the Final Four. There's no questioning that. Duke is going to have significantly more talent. But hopefully, for Hubert's sake, he can sort of start to even those scales through recruiting and through the success he's had in his first year.
Well, and Beau Estes with us here, talking about the tournament and the historic matchup between Duke and UNC. They'll play for the first time ever in the tournament. I mean, as many times as they've played each other, This will be the first time ever in the tournament. They've played 24 times in the ACC tournament, and of course, back in 1971, they played in the NIT final. That was when only 16 teams went to the tournament. Getting to the NIT was a thing back then. I mean, they didn't have like all the college basketball in the big tournament. But having said that, the other part of this, you mentioned the recruiting aspect. I mean, Jon Scheyer is about to take over Duke, and UNC has won national championships with 4 different coaches. I don't think people realize, Roy Williams, sometimes you don't think about Roy Williams. Roy Williams won 3 national championships in 18 years as the head coach there, and Dean Smith won 3 national championships in 36 years. It was exactly twice the number that Roy Williams and Dean Smith have the same a number of national championships, but they have previous ones as well. Duke was nothing before Coach K. They never won anything. Right. And for 42 years, he's been there and he's won 5 national championships. So you wonder about Duke going forward, whether they do the Indiana thing and kind of fade back into the woodwork, or whether Jon Scheyer can keep it going there. He's going to be the youngest coach in Division I at 33 years old, former Dookie, been coaching at Duke, played for, national championship, 2010, won a national championship with Coach K. So the future of recruiting to Carolina and Duke is also on the line in this game. If somehow Hubert Davis beats Duke in back-to-back games with kind of a little bit of an undermanned staff, that's going to be very significant.
Well, and I think you make a good point here, and this is, I've mentioned, I'm a North Carolina fan. If I'm picking this game, I'm picking Duke. Honest to God, if I'm putting on my analysis pass, I'm picking Duke. But North Carolina has successfully turned the page now. They've gone from a legendary coach, and now they're going back to the Final Four the next year. So that has to give North Carolina fans a lot of optimism. Duke fans don't know that they can do this yet. They're not certain. Every time that Coach K has gone out, whether it was, for his back surgery in the 90s and Pete Gaudette came in, the program failed. When he's not there, that program tanks. So Jon Scheyer's got a heavy load on his shoulders. He really does. He'll have talent. He will have talent for sure. Duke's not going to have an empty cupboard, but he has to make it work now. He has to get it done, and that's no small order at Duke, where they're going to expect to be right there with North Carolina They're going to expect to compete for national championships right away. And, sneaking into the tournament or not making the tournament or getting knocked out early a few years in a row, that's not going to do it. So, it's going to be a tough task for Jon Scheyer. I've interviewed Jon Scheyer. I think he's a smart basketball mind. I think he knows his stuff. Communicating that, executing in key moments, that's going to be the challenge because Coach K has done that successfully through the years, time again. And that's the part of coaching that's that in that moment challenge, Tom. You know that it's not the same thing as going out and recruiting, going into the living room, getting people to trust their child with you going forward. That's a different aspect. And so we'll see if Jon Scheyer has that going forward. But I think North Carolina fans have to feel pretty good about where Hubert Davis is taking the program.
If Duke wins the game, and they're a 4.5 point favorite, if Duke wins the game, can a Carolina fan watch the national championship game against either Villanova or Kansas and pull for Coach K in as much as that it's a legendary story, and what an end to a 42-year career would it be for that guy to win his 6th national championship? Or do you throw up a little bit in your mouth and pull for Kansas or Villanova?
Oh, I'm pulling for Kansas or Villanova. I'm putting my fan cap on now. There's no way in the world I am cheering for Duke. Hey, here's the thing. I say it all the time. I want Duke to be good. I do, because this rivalry is nothing if Duke is awful. This rivalry is nothing if North Carolina is awful. The reason it's a great rivalry is because of how great these two programs are. That said, I don't want Duke winning a national championship. I never want Duke winning a national championship. So, Carolina fans, I think, look, Kansas is probably the favorite in this tournament the rest of the way. They're the 1 seed. They have as much talent as anybody, and that talent's mixed with some experience in a different way than Duke's is. So I think Kansas is probably the favorite. I want North Carolina to win it all, but if I'm picking, it's probably Duke.
I might still pull for Nova because of Rolly Massimino. I mean, that was my sweet spot when Rolly was running around the court with his hair flying all over the place, and he was the guy, man. That was just that was just too.
If they shoot high 70% like they did against Georgetown, I like Villanova's chance.
Yeah, you think? How about North Carolina? What was it in the UCLA game? Did they shoot? Was it them that shot the 70-something% in the second half? I mean, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like North Carolina's streak has just been absolutely hot shooting. The reason that they won at Duke, Tom, is because they had 4 guys go for 20 or more.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the standard that they have to set. If R.J. Davis and Caleb Love and Brady Manick and Armando Bacot all go off, then they have a chance. But if anybody's playing off, then it's really advantage Duke. And the other thing I'll say about this, and you've seen it through the years, when you play in a place like the Superdome, where the background is way different from anywhere else you play,
right,
I think that adds a challenge for those long-distance shooters. And there again, there's another advantage for Duke.
I would think that this will continue on. This is the greatest rivalry in the basketball universe as far as I'm concerned, NBA or otherwise.
Sure.
And I will put it on a level of the Iron Bowl and Ohio State, Michigan on the football side. I think it's certainly at that level. I don't think there's anything else that's close in college basketball like there is. I think you can make the case for both the Iron Bowl and Ohio State, Michigan. I don't think you have multiple, rivalries that you. I just hope it doesn't just turn into uniforms on the court, because it was Coach K versus Dean Smith, Coach K versus Roy Williams, Coach K. It kind of kept that thing going. Now I wonder, how it'll be Scheyer and Davis. But hopefully this thing continues on, because it is like nothing else really in college hoop. I don't think that there's even a question that this is the greatest rivalry. And up there, Yankees, Red Sox. Bruins and Canadians, pick your rivalries.
What's the best rivalry in the NFL? I don't know if there's anything in the NFL that.
See, the NFL changes. The Ravens and the Steelers became a great, great rivalry. And for a minute there, it was the 49ers and the Seahawks. The NFL is so fluid.
Yeah.
I think it changes a lot. You know what I mean? The Cowboys and the Packers have this great historical rivalry because of playing in a couple of NFL championships back in the 60s, and they look so wonderful. It's sports eye candy when they're on the court together or on the field together. but they don't play it every year, so it's not really that way. So yeah, the NFL is weird that way. You don't get those kind of rivalries like you do in everything. And in the NBA, really, it's Celtics-Lakers, right? I mean, it's got to be Celtics-Lakers, even though they're a continent across away from each other because of all the championships. You know, what else could it be?
Yeah, so that's the history in the NBA. It's Celtics-Lakers. They're not going to meet this year, or I don't think they will. I don't think that there is, in professional sports, except for Yankees, Red Sox, anything on that level in America. I really don't. I mean, I don't know of anything. You know, everybody knows, or at least I think everybody understands the biggest rivalry in the world. But it's in America. It's UNC Duke. It's Auburn, Alabama. It's Ohio State, Michigan, and it's Yankees, Red Sox. I think those are the four. And you mentioned an NHL one. I wouldn't know about that one.
Yeah, I did mention an NHL one. All right, well, I appreciate you. And another day we'll talk about the fact that the U.S. is going to the World Cup and Italy is not for the second time. I mean, what the heck? Just on what planet would you ever think that the United States would qualify for the World Cup and Italy wouldn't, and it's the second time in a row for Italy not getting there? I don't know what the heck's going on over there with the Italians.
Have me back. We'll chat about that next time.
There you go. All right, man, I appreciate you.
See you, buddy.
Great job. Great job by Beau Estes. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number one next, right here on 97.7 ESPN.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental on the South Memorial Parkway. Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental is independently owned and operated by local folks right here in the Valley? They are celebrating 10 years in the business this year and have grown to be North Alabama's largest supplier of rental skid steers and mini excavators. Now, if you have a question about what tool to use, just call them at 964-6081, and the pros at Valley Equipment will get you into the tool that you need for your specific project. Valley Equipment, more care in every rental.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The PGA Tour's Korn Ferry Tour is coming to the Rocket City. Join us at the Ledges for the inaugural Huntsville Championship, April 29th through May 2nd. Experience the beauty and drama of the course firsthand. Witness golf's rising stars chase their PGA Tour dreams. Cheer on the future of golf up close and personal. Tickets are on sale now at HuntsvilleChampionship.com.
Basketball was originated in America in 1891.
Filling out and busting brackets since the 1970s.
Let this be a reminder to you all that this organization will not tolerate failure.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. For all your service needs, it's Woody Anderson Ford. Doesn't matter whether it's a Ford or not. And when you're down there, check out the gold-certified pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson Ford. I have bought two in the last 6 or 8 months myself, a 2019 F-150 and a 2019 Ragtop Mustang, and we enjoy them immensely. And for all your service needs, it's Woody Anderson Ford. Go on down there, check out those service lanes. They're absolutely tremendous. All right, as would be expected, the text window has pretty much blown up with Will Smith, Chris Rock talk. Nothing on North Carolina, UNC. Smokey Mike says they just wanted to start WrestleMania week hot.
Exactly.
Yeah. Brandon said after you slap a man, you're supposed to have a gunfight.
That's true.
Well, that's what, like gloves. You
That's
know what
dueling.
I mean?
You got a duel.
You slap a guy with the gloves. And Brandon says, it was fake. I didn't see it live. I hate all of Hollywood. I got several comments about their open marriage, that Will and Jada have an open marriage, which is not a marriage. I mean, that's a contradiction of term. You know, they have this. They've been married for 25 years.
Yeah.
But they have an open marriage. And you know what an open marriage means? That doesn't mean that, like, one goes to the movies without the other one. Open marriage means they openly do the horizontal bop with other people. That's like their deal. It's their deal. That's not a marriage. You see what I'm saying? You know, that's not marriage. That's just, marriage is a commitment to a person. And the act of the horizontal bop is something that is to be shared between two married people.
It's just crazy that UNC and Duke, this is the first time they've ever met, ever, in a tournament. Like Alabama has seen LSU and Georgia. Yeah, Alabama has seen LSU and Georgia in the final or the semifinal in at least 4 times in the last decade. And it's over the last decade, and it's just crazy that those two top programs like that have never met each other.
Should brain surgery patients be offended? Well, that's different, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Why was there no security near the stage? There's another question. That's a good question. All right, we'll be back with Tony Tsoukalis from BamaCentral.com next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. We all count on our home's electrical outlets to provide us the power we need when we need it. But sometimes an overloaded circuit can lead to a blown outlet, a major fire hazard. Safety is key when replacing an outlet or adding new ones, so leave it to the pros at Mr. Sparky. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
And now a small business setback. Set to smooth jazz.
It's late. You're driving in the rain with only one thing on your mind. The deer about to total your HVAC van. But with Progressive's 30-plus customizable coverage options, you're covered. The rest is just saxophone.
When running your small business gets rough, Progressive Commercial is there to smooth it out. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com.
Twinkly sound.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Spring has sprung with a hint of summer right around the corner. And with all the travel restrictions easing up, now is the time to consider the Lodge at Guntersville State Park for a quick, relaxing getaway. At the Lodge at Guntersville State Park, all the rooms are routinely disinfected and cleaned to the highest standard. And views across Guntersville Lake are as gorgeous as ever. It's been too long, all cooped up at home. Make plans now to spend a weekend at the Lodge or cabins or campgrounds of Guntersville State Park today. Visit alapark.com for more information.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Chiefs coach Andy Reid at the NFL owners' meetings today addressed the blockbuster Tyreek Hill trade where KC dealt the star receiver to Miami for 5 draft picks. The Dolphins then gave Hill the richest contract ever for a receiver, 4 years, $120 million. Reid said the trade was all about business, nothing personal. They did try to re-sign Hill, but at a certain cost. Also said they feel the players they brought in are good football players. Chiefs did bring in receivers Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Juju Smith-Schuster. The Associated Press reports state and county taxpayers will be asked to commit $850 million in public funds toward construction of the Buffalo Bills' new stadium, which has a state projected price tag of $1.35 billion. The dollar amount considered the largest public commitment for an NFL facility, with the Bills and the league picking up the remainder of the cost.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. At the Orthopedic Center, they can deal with whatever ails you and whyever it ails you, whether it was a sports injury, maybe it's an old sports injury, maybe it's a work injury, maybe it's a working in your yard injury, maybe it's an injury just because you're getting old. Whatever it is, they can deal with it at TOC, and it's not always surgery. A lot of times it's just therapy that you need. And you get the referral from your doc, and you just tell your doc when your doc says, I think you need to see an orthopedic, you just tell your doc, I want to see the orthopedics at TOC. You can call it a doctor by name. I want to see Dr. Greco. I want to see Dr. Davis, whoever it is. Or you can just say, I would like to go to TOC, and they probably were going to refer you there anyway, but they'll go ahead and get you referred to there. Thankfully, so far, nobody at Alabama has needed any orthopedics, as far as I know. Joining us now, Tony Tsoukalas from BamaCentral.com. He's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Tony, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
I am fantastic. Is that true? I mean, we made it through the first 5 practices with limited contact. I assume the contact will pick up this week, but everybody is surviving everything with great health. Is that right?
To my knowledge, they just started, like you said, getting into full padded practices. I think they had 2 or 3 to end the week in full pads. But, there's a lot of people, I think, that are limited. Obviously, the 2 running backs that got injured last year, they're not going full go. There's probably a few other guys out there that are limited, but no new injuries that I've heard of to report.
Yeah. Who has been full go appears to be Jahmyr Gibbs, and man, is he getting a lot of praise both in and out of the locker room, right?
Yeah, and he's really a running back that can do just about everything. Nick Saban and and Bryce Young, they both talked about his hands out of the backfield, and Pro Football Focus graded him as the highest rated receiving grade for a running back last year. And so on top of his running ability, he's a guy that could contribute on third down. I see him being the starter, and if he's kind of also the third down back, you could see him getting a lot of reps this year. I think he could be really special. I think he could, maybe even become the bell cow back for Alabama. It's kind of hard because there's so many mouths to feed in that backfield, but Jahmyr Gibbs is good enough to be that kind of Najee Harris role where you've given him the ball a lot. He never really had the ball a lot in Georgia Tech, so maybe that's just not him, but I think he's going to be a major, I guess, factor in Alabama's offense next year.
But unlike Najee Harris or Derrick Henry, this is not a big guy. This guy less than 200 pounds. You're looking for a comp for him. Is he Alvin Kamara? Is he Christian McCaffrey? He seems like he's like that kind of a back.
Let me check I think he's a little bit bigger than what you're saying. He's right at 200. So yeah, he's not like that big guy.
Right.
I don't think he's like a scat back, though. I think he's going to be a guy that can be more of a complete back. He's not going to be your power guy. I think your power guy is going to probably be maybe a Roydell Williams. I could see him being that guy that you need the short yards. He's kind of like a bowling ball. Maybe a Trey Sanders can kind of do that. But as far as Jahmyr Gibbs, I guess like a Josh Jacobs or I guess Alvin Kamara probably works. Yeah, somebody that can catch the ball and be a really deadly threat as a receiver. Yeah, I guess I could do that. Yeah, that'd be a decent comparison as well.
Yeah, Trey Sanders is kind of the wild card here as well. I mean, he still didn't look like he was 100% back, and maybe he'll never be what he was when he first got to Alabama. He's been banged up with the regular football injuries and then a car accident. But you wonder whether or not he is growing into a 10, 11, 12 carrier role. They want to do things, by committee. They always have. And I think Gibbs would be, 15, 16, 17 touches a game might be the sweet spot for him. There's Sanders. And then you mentioned the other two guys with McClellan and Williams. You get the feeling that somebody's going to end up in the transfer portal here pretty soon.
Yeah, I think you do. I mean, because I don't really think there's enough space for four, especially when you consider, guys like Jamarian Miller and Emmanuel Henderson. And, I don't expect those two freshman backs to step into the rotation this year. I think they're almost redshirt. But they're really talented backs as well. And who knows? Maybe they end up stealing a carry or two here and there. So I just don't think there's enough mouths to feed for four. So you would think that one of those guys is going to transfer. And then you go back to Trey Sanders. Look at last year when the injury crisis happened. He was kind of the fourth guy to get the rock. I mean, Brian Robinson was obviously the number 1A running back. And then earlier in the year, it seems like that was the second back was Jace McClellan. When Jace McClellan went down, that role kind of went to Roydell Williams. So that puts Trey Sanders at 4. And if you're calling Jahmyr Gibbs the starter, well, he's replacing Brian Robinson then. And all of a sudden, Trey Sanders is still at 4 at this point in his career. Now, the question with Trey Sanders is, what's the best move for him if he is the fourth back? Is he so banged up that maybe he just, maybe he wants to stick at Alabama, maybe he wants to kind of play in a complementary role because that's just who he is right now? But if he's that 5-star talent that he came in with, and that if he can get back to that, it just doesn't make sense for a guy like that at this point in his career to be the fourth option. That would lend you to think that he would think about transferring. Now, who's to say that Trey Sanders doesn't just have an amazing spring too, and beats out a limited Jace McClellan and Roydell Williams, and all of a sudden maybe he's the number 2 back. That could also happen. There's a lot of things that could happen this spring. But I think, keep an eye on that transfer portal, because one of those guys you would think would probably lean towards leaving. And right now, just given the, Roydell Williams is an Alabama native, Jace McClellan looks to be the best of that bunch after Gibbs. So right now, I mean, Trey Sanders would be the guy that you would circle as most likely to lead.
Tony Sakalis with us here talking Alabama during spring ball here. Are they scrimmaging on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, or will they have their first scrimmage, or will they scrimmage before that?
That's to my knowledge, yeah, that they'll be scrimmaging unless, a change of plans. They'll be scrimmaging on Saturday, and that will be a telling indicator for a lot of things. We don't get to see the depth chart or any of that, but you do get some leaks from those scrimmages. I know they're closed, but right. A lot of times that kind of allows you to see, like some of the stuff and fill in some of the blanks of like maybe on the offensive line. A guy that I've been kind of interested to hear more about is Jahad Campbell. Is he going to be an inside linebacker? Is he going to be an outside linebacker? I think I saw one of the, the practice footage that they send out. And I think I saw, if I remember right, Demoy Kennedy was with the outside linebacker. He's a guy that could go both ways as well. Obviously, he's a super athlete and even helped out at running back last year. But it'd be interesting to see, like, maybe how they experiment with some of those positions, and then what's the current group on the offensive line. And that offensive line, kind of switching gears right now, could really change drastically if Alabama's able to get Tyler Steen from Vanderbilt, and that's the guy that was over at Alabama, this weekend for a visit. That would obviously really help. But before that, I think it's, the scrimmage would be a good indicator of, like, who's at tackle, who's at guard. And I think that, right. There's a lot that you can gain from that.
Yeah, when you looked at the recruiting from the last couple of years, you wouldn't think that this year's team would have room for any imports, for any guys coming out of the transfer portal. Now, he's a special player, but, man, it kind of felt like by now they would be pretty much locked up and loaded with some of these guys they brought in. But, Brockenmeyer twins aren't where maybe we thought they would be at this particular point in time. J.C. Latham looks like he's going to be a stud, and who knows what's going to happen with Delcourt. I guess you're moving guys around, and who's going to be the center ultimately, and all of that. But it would think that, O-line, you would think it would be an embarrassment of riches almost.
Yeah, I mean, look, if this was like a video game, then it would make sense to put J.C. Latham and Tommy Brockermeyer, two five-star talents, at the tackle positions. They're still talented kids, but neither of them have a start to their name. And I just don't really like the idea of having, a guy like Bryce Young, and you just talked about all the running backs that they have, and then having two fresh tackles that have no experience, kind of bookending your offensive line. I don't think that really makes sense. So to have a guy like Tyler Steen, that gives you a guy with 33, I think, starts at the college level for Vanderbilt at tackle. That's huge. And so maybe where Latham or even maybe Brockmeyer might have more natural talent than a guy like that, I think having that experience is also a huge key when you're building an offensive line. So I think that's really key. I think if they don't get a Tyler Steen, I think you might start experimenting with moving Javion Cohen to one of the tackle spots just to give you some experience at that position. I mean, I know he didn't start at tackle, but he has started all the games, or all but one of the games at guard last year. You could put a Kendall Randolph or Damian George. Each one of those guys have their flaws. I don't think Kendall Randolph's really, tackle material or on a full-time basis. I think Damian George struggled with his athleticism last year. I think he'd be a great guard. I don't think he'd be a great tackle. So I think getting Tyler Steen would allow you to have him at maybe left tackle and then move a J.C. Latham at right tackle. You can afford to have one inexperienced guy at tackle, probably not two.
Yeah, that's been the history. They always seem to have, they often will put a freshman at right tackle, but the great tackles have started out playing at right tackle spot as freshmen. Then they move to left tackle, they'll have an experienced left tackle. He'll go in the, top 20 picks in the draft, and then the next thing the right tackle becomes the left tackle, and so on. So it'll be interesting to see, who ends up in that right tackle spot of the young guys. Famously, Nick Saban called out the receivers after the end of the season, basically saying that, nobody was ready to play when all the injuries went down. And, but there is some real talent there with those guys. There's no doubt about it. You got some young kids coming in that are highly talented as well. Talk to me about this receiver room and whether or not they're ready to step up to the challenge of playing with a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
Yeah, there's it's kind of the same thing where there's a lot of talent, not a lot of experience. Obviously, you bring in Jermaine Burton. I think you can just go ahead and pencil him in as a starter. as he's going to be one of those three guys. He's going to be the big play threat. His numbers don't super jump off the page at Georgia, but he was only targeted 30 times last season. He had 26 receptions, according to Pro Football Focus. Didn't record a drop. So he's in. You'd expect Decory Brooks, the freshman receiver last year, caught the game-tying touchdown against Auburn. You'd expect him to be in that rotation. You're just hearing a lot of good things about him. Obviously, he's out for the spring with an injury, but he'll be healthy in the fall. That's probably two. And then it gets really interesting from there. I think you look at guys like Trayshawn Holden is an experienced guy. Are you going to put him in the slot, though? I don't know. Alabama's put bigger receivers in the slot, Cam Sims before, so I don't think it's necessarily – you wouldn't rule him out of the slot. You got a guy like JoJo Earl who would give you more of that true slot feel. And then you've got guys like Kendrick Law that I asked Nick Saban about earlier. He's a guy that played just about every position in high school. Alabama starting him off at receiver. He's a track star speed kind of guy. Can be really shifty. He might fit in that slot position. Aaron Anderson, Isaiah Bond, Kobe Prentice. I mean, these are guys that Alabama brought in. They are a Shaz Preston, the freshmen that all have speed, all kind of contribute in that slot position. And then the guy I haven't mentioned yet is one that Alabama fans, last spring really gravitated towards is Ajay Hall, one of those players that, kind of caused a lot of drama. I think you could probably assume that was one of the players that Nick Saban was mentioning as wasn't ready for the national championship bright lights. He did have 2 drops during that game. Where is he going to fit into all this? Because he certainly has the talent to kind of slot into one of those positions, but he's going to have to beat out, in my opinion, a Trayshawn Holden or a JoJo Earl or possibly a Kendrick Law. Sounds like, Kendrick Law's been doing really well. So, he's going to have to beat out one of those guys because I think Brooks and Burton are going to be starters. That's just in my opinion. So, yeah, it's going to be – there's a lot to work with. But, like I said, not a lot of experience. But I think talent-wise, Bryce Young will have his options to throw to.
And Hall was one of the guys that emerged last spring. Looked good in the spring game. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, and all of that kind of stuff. What was up? What was up with this tweet that he sent out last week? What is this? You'll miss me. What the heck does that mean? I don't understand. What was he talking about?
I have no idea. He's kind of like the Riddler. I don't think he's tweeted one thing that has been straightforward. He had the silly rabbit trickster for kids tweet. I mean, he has one tweet that says I hate Ajay Hall. It is the guy is never straightforward on Twitter. It's kind of fun to follow. I hope he doesn't change because it makes for some fun following on social media. But it's got to be frustrating for Nick Saban because
you are seeing him. You're seeing him out there in warm-ups, though, right? He is out there. I mean, it's not like
I'm not. I was gonna say he's there and he's not currently in the transfer portal. You talk about players that, with all the drama that's gone behind Ajay Hall, he must not be that unhappy because he hasn't put his name in the transfer portal.
Right.
I would have expected him to be in the transfer portal by now. He seems like a kid that wants that starting spot guarantee. He's just not going to get that. That being said, maybe we have him all wrong. Maybe this cryptic social media is maybe he's not that much of a problem. Maybe this is just kind of some fun that he's having on social media. And, because he's, like you said, he's got the talent. If he figures it out mentally, I think, you'd probably pencil him in there. I think he's every bit as talented as Decory Brooks. I think Decory Brooks has handled the college process a lot better, and now you're seeing him kind of step into that starting role, I would imagine. So, he's one of the more puzzling guys. I would imagine, though, if he does not make a move this spring, a move up the depth chart, Alabama doesn't have a depth chart, whatever, but if he doesn't kind of establish his place, and maybe if he even gets passed up, like I said, by a Kendrick Law or an Aaron Anderson this spring, I think you might start thinking about him transferring because I don't think he's going to want to go another year of, virtually nothing in terms of opportunities. He's not a guy that I think is just going to take the Mac Jones approach and wait it out. I don't see that from him.
Yeah, kind of a goofball, that guy. Tony Sakalis with us here. Henry To'oTo'o is a guy I felt like, as much as he was celebrated coming in and everything, I felt like he wasn't as physical as you normally see out of a Mike linebacker. for Alabama. We know they're going to be great off of the edges. Dallas Turner and, of course, Will Anderson's the best player in college football. I think they're going to be very solid in the interior of the defensive line. However, you wonder about Toa and his physical. There were so many times where he made these great reads and he'd have run-throughs, but he wouldn't make the play. And a lot of his tackles were 4 or 5 or 6 yards downfield, and that's not what you want your Mike to be necessarily doing. Now you assume that Jalen Moody is going to be playing next to him. You wonder whether or not a full year in the Alabama weight training system, can Henry To'oTo'o be a more physical player this year and shoot up those draft boards. He made the right move coming back. You wondered on whether or not he could become a flat-out superstar this year.
Yeah, and so some of that with the physicality is you're not getting the Dante Hightower type guys anymore. You know what I'm saying? Or Rondo McClain type guys anymore. So I think he's also more athletic than those guys. The crazy thing about Henry To'oTo'o is he had games last year where he was physical, where he was doing everything right, and he was a guy that you would have expected to lead for the draft. And then he'd have games where he'd just go missing, or he'd literally go missing when it came to tackling, Right. And so it's all about consistency for him, because he's shown it last year that he has the ability to be a great Mike linebacker for Alabama. Can he put that together on a consistent basis? That'll be interesting, too, because he's going to obviously have a bigger role this year, whether it be Jalen Moody beside him, or whether it be, like I said, a Jahad Campbell, maybe a Deontay Lawson, somebody like that. I mean, there's a lot of guys, Kendrick Blackshire, beside him. I think, he's going to have to be more of a leader. None of those guys I just mentioned are Christian Harris, who had a lot of experience in leadership last season. So it's going to be a big test for Henry To'oTo'o. I do agree with you that he made the right decision by returning. But that being said, I mean, he's got the talent, and he's shown the talent at times. It just comes back to consistency. If he can be consistent, I think he's going to be either probably a late first rounder or an early second rounder kind of guy. I think he really has that talent. Just a matter of putting it together.
And finally, behind Bryce Young, I mean, there's been this talk. A lot of fans are talking about, wow, how cool would it be? Ty Simpson redshirt this year, and then after Bryce Young goes off to the NFL, you get 2 years of Jalen Milroe, 2 years of Ty Simpson. I don't know that Jalen Milroe can keep Ty Simpson off the field. And one of the things I noted the other day, just looking at the film, and this is not something you can't get inside the kid's helmet. You don't know what's going on in his brain or anything else. But from a physical standpoint, Ty Simpson has an incredible release. I don't know if you've noticed it just watching, in those warm-ups and stuff, but it's not something necessarily that you teach. But he gets the ball out of his hands so quick. He is locked and loaded and delivers, and that's something special that you can't necessarily teach. And you look at his film and you look at everything else he's done, I don't know that somehow Milroe doesn't end up getting passed over at some particular point in time here. He just looks that good to me.
Hey, look, I mean, Alabama has Arch Manning coming.
And then there's Arch Manning, right? What the hell? What are you gonna do with Arch Manning?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's him. Maybe it's another guy nobody talks about, or fewer people talk about, is Eli Holstein, is a Texas A&M commit or decommit now that's been to Alabama twice over this month, and he's a guy that I think if Alabama doesn't get Arch Manning, really pay attention to him. Another talented guy that I'm not sure if he would start right away. I'm not even sure if Arch Manning would start right away. But Alabama's quarterback room is going to be loaded after Bryce Young. Back to Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe. That's an interesting discussion because I've been hearing a lot of great things about Ty Simpson, and it certainly seems like he is the guy that might come in and replace Bryce Young next year. Now I do know that a lot of the times the sources and what you see, Alabama loves the shiny new toy, and Ty Simpson is a shiny new toy. You were hearing some things about Jalen Milroe last year, and I don't want to totally write him off either, because from a ceiling standpoint, if he can continue to progress as a passer, I know Ty Simpson can run. I mean, and so can Arch Manning, but they're not Jalen Milroe, who might be the fastest player on the team. I mean, if you're able to build more of a passer out of Jalen Milroe and you can add that running ability, you're talking about Jalen Hurts' running ability. Bad comparison because I think Hurts is a bigger and I think Jalen Milroe faster. But you're talking about a guy that can really be not just somebody that can get yards, but be a weapon with his feet. In addition to, if he can continue to progress as a passer, I mean, that could be a huge tool for Alabama, a huge weapon. And maybe, with all the receivers they have and the running backs they have coming up, it could be really, almost unstoppable for Alabama's offense if Jalen Milroe continues to progress. So I wouldn't write him off. I do think that, like if you're all though, I think would be my pick at the moment to replace Bryce next year. But there's a lot. Go in between that.
Yeah.
They will be loaded, one way or another.
There's no doubt about it. All right, excellent work. Tony Tsoukalis has been our guest. Tony, I appreciate you so much. Keep up the good work there at BamaCentral.com.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, thank you. Tony Tsoukalis. You wonder whether or not it impacts the development of Ty Simpson. How does that impact the Arch Manning? I'm not saying that everybody wants Arch Manning. I understand that. Everybody wants Arch Manning. But you wonder whether or not, Ty Simpson is developing. Wherever Arch Manning goes, the thought process is that he's going to walk in and start day one. Now, who knows? But I mean, that's the thought process. If Alabama spent 2 years developing a quarterback in Ty Simpson by then, and he's in his second spring, he's pretty special too. Pretty special prospect as well. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, phone lines are open the rest of the way. More texts on the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing, but we'll move on. We'll move on a little bit. Something weird is going on in baseball. They're moving second base. I'll explain next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
The Final Four is set for Saturday. Mike Krzyzewski heading to his 13th in his final season at Duke, and they'll face a team that they have met 257 times before in 8th-seeded North Carolina. The 2nd-seeded Blue Devils a 4.5-point favorite over the Tar Heels. Elsewhere, top-seeded Kansas -4 against 2nd-seeded Villanova. The Texas Valero Open this week. Jon Rahm, the plus 1,100 favorite. Jordan Spieth, last year's champion, plus 1,300. Rory McIlroy, plus 1,400. The tournament begins Thursday in San Antonio. NBA tonight, the Atlanta Hawks at the Indiana Pacers. The Hawks -7 on the road. The over-under 235. Tip-off at 6 p.m.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
For over 20 years, Audio Insight has been designing and installing systems that integrate today's technology into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. At Audio Insight, they don't provide one-size-fits-all system solutions. Instead, they design your system from the ground up based on your valuable input. By working closely with you, Audio Insights can ensure that your system will meet your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off Jordan Lane and experience some of their fine products firsthand. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more.
Outdoor season is coming. Can't wait.
Here at Brooks & Collier, neither can we. Outdoor season is also grilling season.
And we have plenty of grills and smokers in stock. From Traeger, Blaze, and Big Green Egg.
There's the greenhouse. New indoor items and home furnishings as well.
Whatever it takes. Browse over 2 acres of furnishings. Can't wait.
How about you? North Alabama's indoor and outdoor living headquarters for over 75 years.
813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Hey, Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford back again to talk to you about how easy it is to make a custom factory order. Just click WoodyAndersonFord.com, hit the top banner, then start making your selections. It's really simple, and you'll end up with the exact vehicle you want. Not only is there no extra charge to custom order, but at Woody Anderson Ford, we'll take 5% off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on the 2022 F-150, Bronco Sport, Explorer, Expedition, and Ranger. Another option for you is a certified pre-owned. We have over 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified are low mileage, gently used with great warranties. They've passed a 175-point inspection by certified technicians and come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Also, don't forget our service department is offering a free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan at Sparkman, hope to see you soon.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect a partly sunny sky. High temperatures will top out in the low to mid 60s for the afternoon. For your Monday night, a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures falling into the mid and upper 40s for the overnight. Looks like rain will return back into the forecast on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Bring that playoff intensity every day to our shows.
Bring it on, Chop. Let's go.
Okay, maybe just for Drew DeArmond.
Bing, me.
Listen for Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew. Weekday mornings starting at 7 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Be sure and join us today from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. Their second location is now open out off the North Parkway, north of Winchester Road, to service the contractors out there even better with larger equipment and so on. Still have their location at the South Memorial Parkway as well. Growing by leaps and bounds. These are local guys, Ross Robertson and his team, that are bringing not only the homeowner but the contractor the equipment that they need to get the job done all around the valley. With the incredible growth going on in the Tennessee Valley, you need to be able to have the equipment to get it done, and these guys, Valley Equipment Rental, have it. They have it. They have the larger excavators now, the dozers, the bigger skid steers, all the larger equipment as well that you can find out there at the north location, and then at the south location, everything else that you need as well. And homeowners, some of the stuff you need to get your jobs done. You need a post hole digger because you're going to be, doing a fence project like somebody I know. All right, you need to have the posts to get that done. A lot of chatter. Oh, here's a sports take, Grizz, from the text window.
Here we go.
Whitey says,
sports.
Just heard Pujols signed with St. Louis.
Yeah.
With him back and Molina and Wainwright, they could be playing their last season together. Yeah, they're in great position to win the 2015 World Series. Man, it's going to be like a geriatric home over there. Is this a real I mean, I know Pujols signed for a year, and with the National League designated hitter, I mean, it makes perfect sense. But I didn't know if it was one of those ceremonial signings and then he's going to retire, or if he's actually expected to have, 300 at-bats this year. We'll see whether or not this is a real thing or not there. Our friend Beau Estes, who was on the show today, he hit the Twitter feed with my whole thing on this is you can debate Will Smith versus Chris Rock all you want. What is certain is that it was gross incompetence on the part of the Oscars to let Will Smith remain in the audience. He says that's not even up for debate. The blame is squarely on the Oscars. So should he have been run off for what he did? My first reaction was I'd have done the same thing. But, and then you start thinking more about it, and that's probably not the right reaction. It's not the reaction I want my sons to have. But on the other hand, I have had some young folks who are very disrespectful walking across my property lately, and my back property. And they appear to be maybe early 20s. And I have told them repeatedly, look, it's private property. Go around, walk down the street. They cut across the yard. They cut across my yard. They cut across my two doors down yards. A city councilwoman that lives by herself. Go across her front yard. And they get very belligerent and very nasty when you ask them politely to not go across your yard. And I've got young kids that are running around all the time. My grandkids are running around the property. I've got things back there that I really don't need to have. I just don't want people on the property. I mean, I think that's a common thing. Well, last Thursday or Friday, this guy comes across the property, starts heading across the property. I'm coming out of my barn. I got both hands full. And I'm coming out of my barn, and I say, don't do it. And he looks up at me, and I said, look, I've asked you before. Please don't come walking across. This is private property. Go around. And he throws me double birds, Grizz. Throws me to double birds.
I probably would, too. No, I'm just kidding.
So what do you do?
Yeah.
So I said, excuse me. At first, I didn't even understand what was going on.
Yeah.
I said, excuse me? So he does it again. And then I make a comment that references potentially maybe putting those fingers someplace where the sun doesn't shine.
There you go.
Which is
it
may or may not be the right response from me.
He'll come back and stab you.
Big wiry guy, tall wiry guy. And he's carrying a book bag. He drops the book bag and heads for me.
Uh-oh.
I take a couple of steps towards him. He starts calling me old man and starts MFing me and screaming. And I told him, I know how to deal with you. Now, luckily, my sons weren't around.
Yeah.
Because I got one son that rents a house
come
back
out of
there.
nowhere.
Right. I got John. I got another son that's got an RV that's parked on the lot. And they're very defensive of their family. They would not put up with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, the guy continued screaming. I mean, he lost his mind. Picked his bag up.
Yeah.
And then, what are you going to do about it? Then he dropped his bag again and headed towards me, and I headed towards him. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to walk into the house because the last thing I need to do, right? I'm 61 years old. I'm going to tangle with some 20-year-old guy. I don't need that aggravation. So I ended up calling the police and, told them where he lived and all that kind of stuff. But my first instinct was to
grab that shovel.
Yeah. And that's probably not right.
No, it's probably not at all.
It's probably not right. And our listeners are responding to the poll question. Will was out of line 58.8% now.
I think so.
Chris Rock deserved it, only 10%. 30% are still saying that it was staged, that the whole thing was staged.
Remember, what was it, Jerry King and Andy what's his name? The comedian. Andy.
I know her. You're talking about Jerry the King
Lawler.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman.
And Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman said that wrestling was fake.
And he smacked him with that broken neck he had.
Yeah. Or gave him a broken.
I love the
pile drive him or whatever.
I love the behind that when they actually talk about that. It's actually a really good documentary on Andy Kaufman about that.
Was it legit?
It was legit. Like
Yeah.
he I mean it wasn't staged.
That's what I thought. I thought it was legit. So, anyway, there's been a lot of reaction to that, and obviously a lot of people on Twitter are reacting to it about what you can and can't do. And it's funny that the issue of security. I mean, there are some comedians that are commenting on, do I have to worry now about if I say something offensive that I'm going to get charged by someone in the crowd? Did Will Smith embolden other people now to take that kind of a move? And then I start reading about Will Smith and his open relationship with his wife, and there seems to be a lot of apologists there. I mean, Will Smith, he said that he had trouble reconciling the fact that he and his wife have an open relationship and that he has affairs and he has sex with other people and his wife has.
Yeah.
And because he's a Christian, he had a hard time reconciling that because he wasn't sure that it was right. But then he went and started seeing this life coach, and the life coach convinced him that he wasn't a bad person because he thought that Halle Berry was hot. And it's okay. Well, it's one thing if you say, okay, wow, Halle Berry's a really attractive woman. All right, so Halle Berry's an attractive woman. I'm going to have sex with Halle Berry. That's a different thing, isn't it? Isn't it a different thing saying Halle Berry is hot?
Yeah, that's a lot different, yeah.
And so he now, through his life coach, he now has come to grips with the fact that it's okay as a Christian. It's okay to act on his urges with other women outside of his marriage.
That's like saying like a AA sponsor telling you to drink.
Yeah,
it's okay, but you can have one. You can have one. You can have two.
He's
just you can have three.
Yeah, it's like okay. So I'm coming to the realization that both of these people are dirtbags.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just seems
they're both
like
just a couple of dirtbags.
Well, to speak in sports, though, with the whole Will Smith thing, why he's out of line, I mean, when you get smacked in a game and you smack somebody back, what happens? 9 times out of 10, the guy that retaliates gets in trouble.
Yeah.
And so I honestly think that Will Smith would have been better by sitting there and taking it, and like many people said, you've said it, go to the back, talk it out. Like, dish it out like men and not walk up to, I mean, I guess that's the manly way to do it. That's a duel nowadays. Walk up to somebody and just open hand smack somebody. So, I mean, that means you duel. So
he said marriage for us can't be a prison. I don't suggest our road for
it shouldn't be
anybody, but the experiences that the freedoms that we've given one another and the unconditional support to me is the highest definition of love. No, that's the exact opposite definition of love. The fact that you've given yourselves the freedoms to just go sleeping around with other people, the highest definition of love is committing to one person and resisting all other urges and spending your entire life committed in fidelity to that one person that you have united with. That is the highest definition of love. Giving yourselves each other unconditional support to go out and sleep around is not the highest definition of love in a marriage. It's the exact opposite. But his life coach explained to him that it was okay. You're not going to hell because you sleep around. It's okay to think that Halle Berry is hot. And it's okay to act on your urges. It's okay. It's all okay. These people are...
Hollywood has some different morals.
I mean, yeah, they're just totally out there. They got some. Definitely.
It just sounds like it's like when you have somebody just totally give up. Don't worry about it. Just give up.
Yeah. Scummy people. All right. What the heck is going on with second base? I did not know that second base is not in line with first and third. And let me explain. And it's been this way for 135 years, Grizz. First base and third base, you know how they're inside the foul line? You know how first and third are like the foul line goes down the outside edge of the base.
Right.
All right, so you got that in your head, right? At second base is lined up to where the line goes right through the middle of the base.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
You see, as opposed to the second base being pulled forward so that it also has the baseline on the outer edge of the base.
Okay.
And it's been this way for 135 years. The bases are out of line. They're out of alignment. So now, and here's another thing. The geometry of the whole thing, it's 90 feet from home to first, and it's 90 feet from third to home.
Right.
Did you know that it's only 88 feet to second base and from second to third?
I never would have.
Until
I saw this article, I never would have known that.
I would have never.
I always thought it was the same. I always thought it was the same.
It's 88 feet and 1.5 inches between the bases. So what they're doing in minor league baseball, later the season, what they're going to do in minor league baseball is they're moving second base forward so that the baseline goes around the outside edges of the base, just like it does first to third. It'll be symmetrical. But that, combined with the fact that they're increasing the size of the base from 15 inches to 18 inches, has now made it so that from beginning later this summer into minors and eventually into majors, the distance between first and second is going to be reduced by over a foot to 87 feet even. It's going to be reduced by 13 inches and a little bit more from first to second. Grizz, 13. How many times is the play at second bang bang on a stolen base? I mean, let the running begin. I mean, you're not going to be able to throw anybody out.
No, and I mean, it's hard as it is now. I mean, it's just it's all about the bounce. It's all about
always bang bang
the placement. Yeah. And with this, so you want more stolen bases. I like
and more first to third.
I like the thrill of the catcher throwing down on somebody. I mean, I like that aspect of stealing. I don't understand putting it close. I guess the rounding of is it what from first to third? Isn't that how the base running or something like that? Isn't that
well, they're going to be. It's going to be a little easier to go from first to third. I don't have a huge problem with this. All I'm saying is that the stolen base is back. I mean, when this happens, you got to believe that they're going to be running like crazy.
I'd send my fast guys every time.
Yeah.
I mean, all my base stealers every time. We'd always hit and run. I'd probably hit and run.
Let me get Crawdad in here. Crawdaddy, what's going on?
Hey, Tom. How you guys doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good. Hey, let me tell you my take on the Will Smith thing. First of all, I can see how that would be most aggravating, but I would have said this. If he was that mad and he was going to take the stage, he should have taken the microphone instead of hitting him and saying, hey, everybody needs to know my wife has an ailment, and this was a very crass and baseless remark, and he should apologize. That's what I think he should have done.
Yeah, or explain he should have used the opportunity. That's what we said in the first hour. Maybe he grabs the mic and he says, let me tell you something about alopecia, and then explained the condition as what it is. And that would have made Chris Rock feel so small. You know what I mean? That would have been more devastating than anything else. Like, aren't I the a-hole now?
Or, I mean, if he had just laughed, we would just brushed it off and not even thought about it.
No, not laugh. This is not just a laugh thing. I think you got to say something.
No. Yeah. No. That's what I'm saying. If he did it, we'll be talking about it. If he didn't do anything, will we be talking about it?
Well, yeah, but we need to be talking about it. I think
I get that. I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you just blow it off. I think it has to be something like, let me tell you about about what she has, the condition she has, and why she doesn't think it's funny. And by the way, I'm gonna go sleep with some other girl here in the audience later on tonight.
And after he says that, then he turns around and walks out with his wife.
Yeah.
They can take their Oscar and shove it.
Yeah.
So that's what I think he should have done. All right, see you guys.
All right, appreciate you.
It's because he didn't get that Oscar to being that concussion doctor. That's why.
See, now I don't like his speech afterwards. I liked his acceptance speech before, but now he seems like a phony. Yeah. When I read the article about his marriage and how he treats, what his thoughts on marriage are, and all this talk about love and everything, now I feel like he's like a phony,
I mean, that's kind of like look at the whole Kim Kardashian, Pete Davidson, Kanye West thing. It just seems like everybody, there's always some kind of beef when it comes to like somebody's dating somebody in the celeb world, and we have to care about it. So constantly, if you click on it one time, you're going to hear about their beef constantly all over whatever social media you have it on.
Text window. Seems like Will Smith is like most people, no idea what being a Christian means. If one's truly a Christian, Christ is the Lord of their life. Yes, Whitey. It's a good job by you. All right, let's grab a break. The stadium, we're hearing it at the top of the hour. We're hearing about the Buffalo Bills, and they're going to be building a new $1.4 billion stadium. Are the Buffalo Bills going to be playing in a dome? Are we going to lose one of the great weather sites in all of the NFL? I'll tell you what the stadium is supposed to look like in Buffalo next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Find your rhythm, feed your rhythm at Rhythm on Monroe. Not just a great restaurant and rooftop bar, but the perfect spot to relax and take in a beautiful scenic downtown sunset on the rooftop or patio. Enjoy Chef Becky Vibbert's fresh and delicious fan favorites like braised beef short rib sliders, seasonally inspired fresh salmon dishes, crispy Brussels sprouts, and fresh baked peach walnut cobbler or chocolate chess pie. Open daily at 4 p.m. with brunch from 11 to 3 on Saturday and Sunday on the corner of Clinton and Monroe in the Von Braun Center. Follow Rhythm on Monroe on Facebook.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
And now a small business setback. Set to smooth jazz.
It's late. You're driving in the rain with only one thing on your mind. The deer about to total your HVAC van. But with Progressive's 30-plus customizable coverage options, you're covered. The rest is just saxophone.
When running your small business gets rough, Progressive Commercial is there to smooth it out. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Twinkly sound.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
Redmont Vodka and Vulcan Gin. Alabama-made premium quality spirits. Owned by our very own Charles Barkley. 8 times distilled, gluten-free, and non-GMO. Whether you choose to sip Redmont on the rocks or blend it with your favorite mixers, you will definitely be able to taste the difference. Pick up some Redmont Vodka and Vulcan Gin today. Available in ABC stores and package stores. For more information, visit us at RedmontDistilling.com. Also, follow us on Instagram at Redmont Distilling. Support local, enjoy responsibly.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect a partly sunny sky. High temperatures will top out in the low to mid 60s for the afternoon. For your Monday night, a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures falling into the mid and upper 40s for the overnight. Looks like rain will return back into the forecast on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Local sports is covered right here.
Well, appreciate what you guys do for sports, but also for high school sports and taking time to talk to us. That means a lot, and appreciate what you guys do and appreciate you having us on.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
So I'm going to watch it on TV.
The game's on. Oh, I almost forgot. I'll be right there.
We like sports and we don't care who knows. From shooting hoops to the Super Bowl. We like sports and we don't care who knows.
Football, tennis, hockey, golf.
The game is starting. Everyone is here. I got my snacks, my friends, and a beer.
So I'm going to watch it on TV.
Are you ready for football? A Monday night party!
So I'm going to watch it on TV. So I'm going to watch it on TV.
What to watch on TV tonight is brought to you by our good friends at Audio Insight. At Audio Insight, they can do whatever it is that you need from an audio-video standpoint in your home or business, whether it's the new projection television in the conference room with surround sound. Boy, we like that, wouldn't we, Chris? How about we have a little bit of that? We just watch TV all afternoon.
It'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, it'd be pretty nice. Or whether it's just retrofitting something in your home or putting a surround sound system in there. Maybe you're going with a new 75-inch TV. They've got all of the stuff that you need to make it right at Audio Insight. If you go to audio-insight.com and look at their site, it's amazing. Go to audio-insight.com and check that out. And you'll see everything that they do. 1229 Putman Drive is where their showroom is, right off of Jordan Lane. Tonight, Chris, I guess if you're a women's basketball fan, tonight's a big night. They got two regional finals tonight. All right, the first one is coming up. That's the UConn North Carolina State game. That one will be at 6 p.m., and that is followed by Michigan Louisville, and that's all on ESPN. ESPN2 has the High School Basketball Powerade Jam Fest, which may get higher ratings. I don't know. We'll see. UConn usually moves the needle a little bit. I mean, they'll have a little bit of they'll have a little bit of viewership on that. I will be watching some spring training baseball in the studio. I'll have it on this afternoon. Yankees and Detroit Tigers are about to start on the MLB Network, and so I'll have that on in the afternoon. Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds spring training baseball coming up tonight. That is on the MLB Network as well. The college hockey tournament is taking place as well. Western Michigan and Minnesota on ESPNU, and that one will be followed by the second game, which is Quinnipiac versus Michigan. So a lot of Michigan-type stuff going on there in that, in the Frozen Four. So there's all of that going on tonight. The new stadium that they want to build in Buffalo, it looks like it's going to be in Orchard Park, which is good, not in downtown Buffalo. If it's in downtown Buffalo, there's like $350 million worth of infrastructure stuff that has to be done so that they can build that stadium in downtown Buffalo. In either event, it's an open-air stadium. It's not a retractable dome. It's not no kind of dome. It has it's kind of like Miami Stadium, Grizz, where it has the covering that will cover all the people.
Yeah.
But it's an open-air stadium, and that's a wonderful thing. It actually looks like that. It doesn't really specify whether it has natural turf or synthetic turf. It looks like it could be either. But it will be open air, which means it certainly could be natural like Cleveland and Pittsburgh and Green Bay and Chicago, other places that are along the lakes that are Great Lakes. There's no reason for them not to have natural grass there. But at least it is not a dome. Thank God for that. It is not a dome stadium. And I think it's going to be in Orchard Park. The two locations are Orchard Park and downtown Buffalo. And if they go in downtown Buffalo, because of all the infrastructure they have to do, the stadium would not be ready until 2027. However, if they do it in Orchard Park, they're a lot closer, only $8 million worth of infrastructure, a lot closer for it to go, and it will be ready by 2025. So 2 years sooner if they do it in Orchard Park. So I hope that that's where they do it, in Orchard Park. All right, so we got all of that. Oh, by the way, speaking of the NFL, Hard Knocks, Detroit Lions get the Hard Knocks treatment. Dan Campbell's going to be the star of that.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, this is all about – they don't have a player that we want to see, right? I mean, Dan Campbell.
No, not really.
Yeah. I think the coach, Dan Campbell's going to be a star of Hard Knocks, but the Detroit Lions getting the Hard Knock treatment here coming up this summer with the – and I have enjoyed that in the past.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. There's been a few that I've really enjoyed, and then there's been some that I really just didn't even pay attention to be honest with you. I may have watched a couple episodes.
This came from Hard Knocks.
Testosterone high today. What's that? Testosterone, whatever the f*** it is. Testosterone.
That was from Hard Knocks.
I really enjoyed the Atlanta Falcons one. I'm not gonna lie. The Atlanta Falcons one was really good.
Yeah, if it's your team, it's good stuff. If it's your team.
I liked the Cowboys one, too. That one was pretty good.
Remember the cut we used to use, Stretch is overrated?
Yeah.
Stretch is way overrated. Did you know World War I and World War II, all those guys that fought in that war, right? They did push-ups, jumping jacks, sit-ups, climbed the rope, and ran. But none of this fancy, okay? Right? And they won 2 world wars. 2 world wars by doing jumping jacks, push-ups, and sit-ups. 2 world wars. You think they were worried when they're running across Normandy about stretching? Are you kidding me?
A few people might have pulled a hammy.
Well, let me see. Give me my rubber band so I can stretch to run across that beat. You got to be kidding me.
That's great. That is great. I want a coach to do that to me. Say that to me.
That was from Hard Knocks as well. All right, that's good.